Los Angeles Police Department 77th Division Senior Lead Officer Martin Martinez explains how and where law enforcement intersect with homeless youth. Law enforcement have the best intentions to respond with compassion and link youth to resources they need to get off the street.
November is Runaway Homeless Youth Awareness Month, and we are working to shine a spotlight on youth homelessness. It is estimated that there are over 4,000 homeless youth in South Los Angeles. In your profession, have you ever encountered a homeless youth, and what have you done to assist them?
Directly to that answer, yes, and certainly I commend you bringing awareness to the youth homelessness issue and concern. As to what I have done, and certainly with regard to not only personally but with regard to my peers and our department, the concerns are many because the homeless issue with regard to young people has grown in the recent time and the recent years. What our posture and what I have done, and certainly what we're directing our officers to do, is to identify the needs of the specific needs of that individual that we encounter. It could be shelter, it could be medical care, it could be psychological support, it could be relocating to a facility of the most appropriate care for that particular child. But a lot of it has to do with regard to finding the root cause of why that particular child has become part of the homeless community. A lot of it is a falling out with regards to domestic care, disputes with regards to either family, felt unwarranted or unwanted on behalf of the family that used to care for that particular child, or a bad choice or two that may have resulted in bad decisions that allowed or landed that child in our city streets.
Right. Okay. And what are some of the challenges you face when you come in contact with the homeless youth?
A lot of it, the challenges that we have is denial
Right.
by the child himself, not understanding that we truly are looking after his or her best interest, and they look at the fact that there is a wedge between the homeless population and the police, and not the reception that we're looking at for the best interests of the child. Many of our young people do not want to be subjected to live within the rules and confines and policies of a shelter, and that's part of the acceptance. The other issue, they truly want to embrace that free spirit of being on their own. And our concerns are the fact that they're a minor. And a lot of times their life experience doesn't allow them to accept so many variables that are their responsibility, when they either emancipate themselves from their guardians or separate themselves from the family unit and put themselves in harm's way, not only to the elements of the street, whether it be temptation, to peer pressure, whether it be subjective to narcotic use, or the vices on our city streets that may in fact lure them into a life of prostitution, and just being in harm's way, and which is a serious problem. We see so many young people today, as young as 10 years old, subjected to the acts of prostitution, which is a crisis, a major crisis. Because a lot of times independent lifestyles at a very young age is over-glorified with regard to the responsibility that it requires.
Right. That's true. And then my next question is, what are ways in which law enforcement can help homeless youth seek the help and support they need?
One thing that can be identified, and we need to do a better job of, law enforcement, a uniform presence, needs to have a better access to resources available for our young people. And for our young people not to have that fear or that phobia of law enforcement to come forth with regard to their needs. And we are the most visible body of government. We have an abundance of resources available to our young people and anyone that desires a need for assistance to reach out to us, certainly to have that sense of confidence and reach out to us and explore the various options available to improve their quality of life, to put them back in the path of being productive young people, and certainly to re-engage the importance of education and that power of education as to how it resonates for them individually.